Today I'd like to speak to you about taking your time. The idea for today's address comes from a novel. It was a book I bought 4 years ago, but I've only just completed reading. The novel is titled The Curriculum Vitae of Aurora Oritz. It is set in contemporary Spain and is written by Almudena Solana, a television journalist in Madrid and a part-time novelist. The novel was initially published in early 2005 in Spanish and was then translated into English by David Fry later that year. The book's heroine, Aurora Oritz, finds herself widowed at the age of 30. She needs to find a job. Although she is in no position to choose, she would ideally like to work as a caretaker in a quiet block of flats and watch life go by. She puts that on her CV. Aurora's aspirations are simple and few, and with the help of her neighbour and friend Franny, who lends her a computer, she composes a suitable curriculum vitae and proceeds to tramp the streets of the city in search of work. The book's dust jacket says, with her freshness, her innocence, and her relative lack of commercial ambition, Aurora Oritz is a new sort of heroine, one whose ethos and view of the world would run contrary to most contemporary trends. This story of how she comes to terms with the burden and pressures of modern life will strike a chord with many of her own European generation. And I would say it would strike a chord with her generation and others way beyond Europe. Aurora was born and raised in the Spanish mountain village of San Clemente. When she was in her mid-20s, her mother developed terminal cancer, and Aurora nursed her until her death 3 years after her diagnosis. Following her mother's death, Aurora worked as an assistant in her aunt's hairdressing salon in San Clemente, and it was here that she met her husband Roberto when she was washing his hair in the salon. They married and left the village for Madrid. He went to university and then worked at the North Madrid railway station. She cleaned houses for money and looked after the children of recently arrived Ecuadorian immigrants. Looking after the children was a parish initiative administered by her local Catholic church. Aurora's husband, Roberto, dies suddenly one morning of a heart attack at his job at the North Madrid railway station, and although it's not stated explicitly, it is obliquely hinted at that that was the day that the Al-Qaeda bombs went off in the North Madrid railway station. Aurora's widow's pension pays her mortgage on her small flat in Madrid, and there's a little money left over for food, but no more. She needs a job. A new job now. But Aurora loves to read. She loves to think. And she loves to think and read. She wants a job where she can read and think, where she has the time to read and think. Aurora wants to be the caretaker of a quiet block of flats. Aurora's covering letter tells prospective employers and the staff at the Talento recruitment agency, "So here you have me, wanting to be a caretaker for a building. I'm offering to spend my working days sitting behind the desk in a caretaker's office. I know that from there I can travel far. If you give me a caretaker's job, I could concentrate on my books again, once of course I'd taken the rubbish out. During the course of the day, on the other hand, since the working day is long, I'd listen to anyone who came in, because if there's one thing that motivates me, it's my terrific curiosity." Aurora sends her CV to the Talento recruitment agency in Madrid. They in turn send her a copy of the labour agreement for employees of town properties. She tells her family back in San Clemente in a letter to them, "My eyes were sparkling with joy when I saw my fondest dreams reflected in that document. It said a caretaker is a person who's given a room to live in as his home in the building and who enjoys a labour contract. Then it spoke to me all about caretakers' duties, and they all pleased me, cleaning, maintenance upkeep of the entranceway, the caretaker's office, stairs and all the other common areas, turning on and off and maintaining the heating system, the hot water, the stairs and the lifts, keeping watch on vacant flats and accompanying prospective tenants who want to see them, opening and closing the front gate, controlling the lights in the common area, and removing the rubbish. She is in raptures. Sadly, though, the staff at the Talento Recruitment Agency tell Aurora, it isn't easy to become a caretaker. In the smaller buildings, the tendency is to replace caretakers with entry phones. In the big ones, the style is now to hire a concierge or even a security guard. The advantage of having a concierge, she is told, is that although they earn higher wages than caretakers would, they still reduce the overall cost to the owners since they do not live in the building. Aurora, undaunted, continues to send out her curriculum vitae to prospective employees and rings the Talento Recruitment Agency daily to see if they have a job for her. Not any old job, but a job as a caretaker in a quiet block of flats. There are no such jobs available. Aurora takes a break from job hunting and goes back to San Clemente for a bit. Here she spends time with her aunt and cousins, cooking and eating and talking. And she drinks coffee under the lemon trees in the village square with the parish Catholic priest, discussing philosophy and theology. And she found special tranquility, she says, in crocheting rugs, listening to CDs, and cleaning out her childhood wardrobe of all her old clothes and those of her late husband, Roberto. It was, she said, the first time since his death that she had thought of Roberto in isolation, rather than in terms of the world in which he'd moved. When she had taken the time she needed, she heads back to Madrid and to the Talento Recruitment Agency. They offer her a job as an assistant in a beauty parlour. She declines it. They offer her a job in a supermarket. She declines it. They suggest that she go to university. She politely refuses. They are getting by turn increasingly exasperated with her and especially fascinated by her. The director of the Talento Recruitment Agency, Maria San Jose, says to Aurora, reading your letters, you give me the impression of being, how could I say it, a girl with a whim. It seems you only want a job as a caretaker, and to top it off, you've no previous experience in that field. I know I would do it well, Aurora replies. But wouldn't you also do well at something else for the same salary, such as, I don't know, a telephone receptionist, a telesalesperson, a waitress, a cleaning lady? There are lots of jobs you could do, but you've not marked them. Aurora does not say out loud, but she knows that all those other jobs would not give her the space she needs, the time she needs, the time and the space to think. The director continues, Aurora, jobs are quite scarce. The unemployment rate is hovering around 15% for Spanish men and women who are old enough to work for their daily bread. People are being forced into early retirement before their children even leave home. The other day, just to give you an example, Aurora, a fellow went on the radio to offer his kidney for sale in exchange for a job. A job, Aurora, any old job, not the job he'd been waiting for all his life. And I'm talking about a fellow who was, 50, 55 years old, with who knows what experience behind him? Aurora, do you know? Do you hear what I'm saying? Yes, says Aurora, yes. Aurora is referred to the agency's staff psychologist, Guillermo. Guillermo says, you're qualified for anything you can put your mind to, Aurora. What I don't understand is why you're so set in sitting in a caretaker's office. I'd like to travel, she says. In a caretaker's office, I would travel far. I could visit places through books, get to know new civilizations, study the classics, travel around the globe. I think it is an appropriate job. I like working, believe me, but sitting at that desk, I'd have lots of dead time. That time would be mine. I'd leave my own house and sell it and pay off the mortgage, and I'd start living in the rooms that they usually give to the caretakers. Isn't that how it works, Guillermo? I don't understand, he says. But despite his despair and bemusement, Guillermo joins forces with Aurora in the search for a position as a caretaker in a quiet block of flats.